fellow Nigerians and to be able to generate the money that we need to do the work in Nigeria. Things like this and details like that will be quite helpful. Thanks.
My name is Phyllis. I'm 19 years old. I'm a second-year student at London School of Economics. My question is, what do you think about the younger generation of Nigerians growing up in the Western world can do to the betterment of Nigeria or their role in the country's future?
Doctor.
Thank you very much. All protocols duly observed. Thank you, Your Excellency, for making our time to interact with us today. We invaded Taraba. We've done medical outreaches and sensitization campaign across the 16 local governments of Taraba State. And we are still looking at invading further states. Bauchi, Adamawa, and Gombe are in the pipeline. However, my question at the moment is, first of all, before I ask my question, most of the times we see government officials, past presidents, leaving Nigeria seeking healthcare outside the country, which is quite embarrassing to the Nigerians and to the doctors trained in Nigeria. Most doctors are leaving Nigeria chasing, greener pastures outside the country. Yes. I am a doctor. I was trained in Nigeria, and I never had the ambition at any point to leave Nigeria, but circumstances beyond my control made me leave Nigeria. And here I am at the moment. And I have the passion to go back home to, build our nation. Many of my colleagues say I have the passion. We want to come back home, but we need things to be put right to come back. My question now is, with Your Excellency, first question is, what are you gonna do to curb these, government officials leaving Nigeria, leaving our health sector in shambles and dilapidated states and going to seek healthcare abroad? That's the first question. Second question is, what are you going to do to reduce the brain drain, to stop the brain drain from Nigeria, especially from the professionals? And the final question is, Your Excellency, we are wishing you longevity. We are not wishing you, ill health or anything, but should in case you fall ill, are you going to leave Nigeria to go abroad to seek healthcare, or are you going to seek healthcare from the professionals in our country?
Thank you very much. Encouraged by your presence. One of the things somebody asked here was about a mandate, a plan. Now that's very, very difficult to be able to implement in your first few months if you do win, and hopefully you will win. But I'm more concerned about sustainability. In the past, there's always been this, here's our mandate, this is what we're going to do, all these preemptive promises, I have to say. What makes you a different candidate? How can we be confident that whatever building blocks you put in place, that these are sustainable over a long period of time? Thank you.
To build leadership, what are the things you're going to put in place to facilitate and enhance the youth to be able to take over the mantle of leadership after your time, sir? It's quite instructive that the youth understand that the future no longer belongs to the older generation. The future is ours. So,
lots of questions, I'll just go with you. He wants to know how you will ensure that his peers in Nigeria gets the quality of education that he does here as well. Secondly, he's been to Nigeria a couple of times and he, like his dad, always watch what's happening, and he wants to know how the leaders will be kept to their promises to deliver what they are meant to deliver and not just look out for themselves. And finally, given his age, he wants to know your thoughts on climate and how you're going to help keep climate change from Nigeria. Thank you.
Question. The other one I'll probably tell you that this. When it comes to the issue of climate change, let me be very quick. There's a protocol for climate change. And I assure you that we'll follow the protocol that is already established. We're not going to change from what Nigeria is already signatory to. We'll just follow what they've already signed. And where we feel it's not suitable, because even if you look at from the Ukraine war, some of the signatories are also trying to adjust a little bit. So if we are going to adjust, we'll still go back to having been signatory to it to see that we adjust within the protocols. So that one is given.
On the quality of education, let me tell you, 3 things is what develops a society. Because when we talk about societal development, it's hinged on biggest measure of it is Human Development Index. Human Development Index is 3 items. Life expectancy, which you call human life expectancy, is health. Number 2 is education, which I consider number 1, even when it's number 2. The more educated society is, the better the society. Yes. And you can't talk about building physical infrastructure without building the human infrastructure. So for me, education is everything. And I've demonstrated it as a governor. You can go and see what we did in education in Eendears. So tell your son we're going to do that. And I'm committed to it. On youth leadership, I agree and I said every day that the youth should be part of this. Let me tell you and assure you, when we talk about diversity and everything, the most critical thing I want us to achieve is the inclusiveness of women and youth in governance. This is one government that if we succeed, when we succeed, yes, women and youth will be visibly represented. Yes. We need them in the government. Sustainability of governance. Thank you. We'll do that. We'll ensure. Youth, and when I mean youth. When I mean women. Sustainability of government, let me tell you, if you ensure free and fair election, if you stop transactional government, our commitment is to have purposeful leadership that will be less transactional. By the time you deal with all this process and make government less attractive and you have free and fair election, I can assure you sustaining your policies and everything becomes easy. Let me give you an example. In Manchester here, if there's a road that they say is one way, will any of you drive on it? No. Let me tell you, it's not only police that will stop you. The people who refuse. So, when you talk about sustainability of what you do, it's also about the people. If you elect a councillor, a council chairman, if you elect somebody today, mayor of Manchester, tomorrow, he buys a new house, you know what will happen? Go in jail. No. Taxman, house of investigation will start to know where he got the money. If the new Prime Minister of UK today and tomorrow you buy a house, everybody will come after you. In Nigeria, it's the opposite. We celebrate him. So sustainability is very easy. Doctor asked me that I will leave Nigeria for medical treatment. Doctor, I want you to ask your colleague in Nigeria. I built the teaching hospital from scratch. And as governor, I was attending them. And it will shock you. I've never been sick, I get tired. That's the thing. But once I had to do a procedure, like all of you. Everybody knew it was from London. I went to serve as governor of Anambra State. So I lived in the UK for several years. It will shock you. My doctor in the UK has been doing all the medical checks. He didn't find that. But when I went to Nigeria, I went to local hospital in Onitsha. I did a test. And the reverend sister who was in charge of the lab told me, I think you should go and check this thing again. And maybe you do a procedure to remove it now. But I've been doing this thing in London here. They didn't find it. After I came back to my hospital here, to my doctor here, who said to me, yes, if you want, you can do it. And transferred me to another doctor. I agreed and I'll do it. It's better for me. I arrived there that morning and I want to do the procedure. Guess what? 2 young men walked in. They are black people. One is from Imo, one is from Ondo. And so even in the UK, I met people who did the procedure were listening. So I assure you that I'll try. Brain drain for me is not a problem. Trust me, it will be a brain gain. Because when we fix Nigeria, all those things you learn from here, guess what? You bring them back. India and China have changed today. You know what happened? Because the people that went abroad came back and changed it. You are the first investors we'll get when we start building a better Nigeria. You are the one going to attract the foreign investor, because the day white man see you going back to invest in Nigeria, they will follow you. That's what they did with India. I lived with somebody when I lived, my neighbor in the UK, my next door neighbor, this is my house, this is his house, built a factory in India. I was exporting goods into UK. The factory was employing his people. They were living well, and he was making money here. That's what I want to do. That's what I want us to do. Because today, if you send money for them to build factory, they will eat it. If you send money to build house, they will eat it. So we must reverse it. So the brain gain will be medical tourism by officials of government. We will fix it. We will make sure, I won't tell you nobody will come here for treatment. No. But it must be on referral basis. So we have exhausted those who can do it locally. And it will not work, and you will see it. I don't even know where they will get the money to go anywhere. I keep saying it. The greatest asset, the greatest human asset we have today, the greatest human asset we have today are the youth. The reason why one of the main reasons we are having in Nigeria is that the energy, we are not unleashed the energy and talent of the youth. We have not unleashed the talent and energy of the youth. So we have allowed this enterprise to be managed and run by people, some of whom have since passed their destination. It has to stop. We need to unleash that energy. We have talented youth, we have talented everything. There's things you cannot do. I was talking to somebody this morning, a very prominent Nigerian, and I told him what the youth can do is incredible. And when I came here to do a program in one of the best universities there, it will shock you. I got into the school, and I said to me, everything you need, all your books, all your assignments, everything, all your notes and everything is in your system. They just gave me, that's all, and said everything is there. It took me going to call my son. I said, hey, wait a minute. I came to collect books from these people to read. And look at what they, so the energy and the talent we need to unleash it. Somebody talked about manifesto. I'm happy the chairman is there as they're talking about the manifesto. Let me tell you about this election. The Labour Party, like the chairman told you, is the party that started yesterday. In the sense of what we are doing now. Forget that we have suddenly become the third. Forget that we have become a movement. Forget that we have become the third party of record in Nigeria. One minute. No. Let me tell you, the third can be first, but we are the third reckoning. No, I'm being factual. Before now, the party that is known is APC, PDP. So in terms of nation, we are now one of the three. So let's be factual, because it's important. You learn from that. Now, but let me tell you about manifesto. Let me tell you about written promises. That's where our government is coming in. Nigeria is not devoid, or Nigeria is not lacking in manifestos of people in the past. In fact, let me tell you, if you decide to look at manifestos of politicians, presidential candidates in Nigeria, the list will fill this hall. If you decide to look at little policies, documented ideas in Nigeria, it will fill this hall. What is lacking is two things. Number one is that the weakness of the institution to be able to deliver this, and the political will. And I have number three. What we are going to tell you, remember what I said, all of us, some will even speak better English. Some will even qualify themselves more than Peter. All of us are going to come with sweet talks, promising something that is fantastic. What this election is all about is about who can we trust that what he's saying he will do. So if Peter stands here and says, I'm going to fight corruption, and I say it every day, fighting corruption is easy. I'm going to fight corruption. People have asked me how. If what I want you to do is, okay, he was governor of Anambra State. Can we go to Anambra State? When you hear about corruption perception index, it's measured on one thing. It's measured on management of public resource. Nothing else. How did he share government posts? Because that's corruption. They put it in, it's a major part of corruption. How did we share the land? He was governor in charge of land. Who and who got the land? How many did he get? How did he manage the resources? Because I said we're applying for a job. That's how you determine what are we going to do. If he says he's going to fix education and make it to be world class, what did he do with the last place where he was? If he says he's going to deal with health, if he says he's going to deal with this, let's go and see. If he says he's going to cut cost of governance, because that's another problem we have. Huge physical rascality in cost of governance. I can tell you it costs more to keep a governor in Nigeria than to keep the British Prime Minister. And I know I've experimented it. And it's very simple. If they wake up tomorrow morning or Monday morning, tomorrow in this country and see Louis with 5 vehicles, he will be removed the next day. But of no confidence for being in 5 vehicles. 5. I'm not talking about 10. 10 is that he will not go back to his office. And I'm telling you, that's it. If they wake up tomorrow and see him going to Nigeria in a private jet, he has to explain. Because there's British Airways that can fly him to Abuja. And that's how it works. If Germany wake up and see Chancellor in a private jet flying to Africa, it's a problem. So these are institutions. This is a country. Germany per capita is about 40,000. Britain per capita is about the same thing, 100,000. But a country with less than 2,000 per capita is living as if. So you can go on and on. So if anybody says I'm going to do this, forget about documented. My brother, I can hire the best of economists. They put anything. I'm here to talk to you. I didn't go today. You know what? What we are quarreling with me in Nigeria? They say don't need to be a spokesperson. When people campaign here, they come to spokesperson. No. You know Obama because Obama was talking to the people. You know this trust because when it comes to campaigning, he will talk to you. In Nigeria, the presidential candidate has a spokesperson who is talking to the person. Why is he talking to 2 people? He should come and tell us what he's doing. I'm here in Manchester. Let people come to Manchester and talk to you people. Let them not send agents tomorrow and you're listening to them. And then you do fair. You organize this. That's what it should be. I didn't call in a 5-star hotel and give you buffet because I've not stolen anybody's money. So when somebody says I'm going to do this, and I challenge people, I've been governor and left office 9 years ago. When I started being governor was 2006. Because of my difficulties in starting being governor, I quarreled with everybody. As you know, quarreled with everybody from House of Assembly to teachers in school. Schools were shut down, to hospitals, doctors were on strike. Everybody was everybody. Because I was trying to bring a change. If you bring a change, there will be a problem with everybody. Because everybody lives up the old order. When they understood what I was doing, of course, you know, I was removed from office twice. I was impeached. Because nobody understood what this man was coming to do. But I started implementing MDG. Nigeria was the signatory to MDG in year 2000. It was MDG that allowed China to pull 409 million people out of poverty. Nigeria threw people into poverty within the same period. But I started implementing MDG in 2008. 7 years after it started, by the time they finished in 2015, Anambra was #1. Because we were #1 in education, we were #1 in health, and I can go, not say we won the gate prize for Southeast. I can go on and say what we won over the years. We did very well in terms of development. As at that time, we had the best road network, the ministry. I didn't borrow 1 penny from any bank. Yes. No financial institution will ever say people we borrow 1 kobo from them. The day I left office, I was not owing any contractor, supplier who have executed his job 1 naira. I was not owing salary. I cleared all the pension and gratuity. I wasn't owing anybody. And I left in 3 banks in Nigeria. The banks are still there. I left in Access Bank, $50 million, over 10 billion naira. I left in Diamond Bank, $50 million, over 10 billion naira. I left in Fidelity Bank over $15 million, over 10 billion naira. And I had investments in other facilities. And today, I'm the only guy that the governor has signed. When they brought a law for me to sign for my pension, I told them that nobody is entitled to anything. Anambra State have not bought me pure water. This bottle of water since I left 9 years ago. Go and see it. Go and check it there. I have no land. No single land. Will you see that allocated to me directly and directly by Anambra, and I signed over 10,000 COOs for other people. Nobody from my town was appointed a commissioner. And I can go, no OB, nobody from my town. Because I was entrusted public wealth. I have to share the responsibility. And I served in other different areas. I was chairman of Security and Exchange Commission. Go there and ask them whether they got me pure water. Yes. So if anybody says I'm going to fight corruption, let's know how you managed the last place when you left. I told somebody I'm going to fix education. I told somebody I'm going to fix education. I'm going to fix education. Because I moved to Anambra State from 26 and 27 to number 1. If you go to Anambra State when I was governor, no single school in Anambra State, every school had 2 buses. They have computers, they have internet, they have generator. Chimamanda said 2 days ago, I was in Harvard on Thursday. I spoke at Harvard. Chimamanda said, when a young girl came to her and said, as a senior prefect, I had Peter Obi's phone number, that she thought it was a joke. Until they started showing her exchange of text, 2 of us were exchanging. And I said to them, everybody, go and ask any senior prefect that was there when I was governor. They all had my phone number. Every senior prefect had my phone number. And I was interacting with them directly as governor. So don't tell me you're going to do this because you are applying for a job. Tell us what you did in the past. The job of a leader is to solve problems. The job of a leader is to be able to find solutions, not to blame. Nigeria, you vote people in, they start reminding you that when Comrade was there, that this, or that the Comrade caused this problem, or that this person caused it. No. If the past was doing well, we won't hire you. We hired you because they're not doing well. We don't want you to remind us of the past. Because that's how we hired you, because those people who were there were not doing well. So that's why we hired you. So we didn't hire you to remind us what they did or what they didn't do. God did not give us eyes to look back. I want to see the new Nigeria. So it will not happen by manifesto. It will not happen by what? Manifesto. Leave it short of manifesto. Leave it short of written thing. I can bring it. So when people come and tell you, oh, Peter, we are looking for this. Let me tell you, we have manifesto. But the real manifesto is this. When I was campaigning for Northern Anambra State, they will give me what the other people wrote. 5 pages, 20, 30 pages. My own was 1 page. I will change school. You know, I will change school. I will do this, I will do this. They say this man is not serious. What is he talking? I'm giving you the manifesto. Into my mouth tonight, you want to do what? What I'm telling you is the manifesto. Because they won't come to you, that's why they have written something. Find out in the road, it's hidden. The people there, they didn't write something. Very good, they won't even read it. They don't even know what is written in it. And you know when I was starting here, I told you that I didn't allow people to talk about my CV. It's simple. People want to read. Oh, Peter Obi went to Nigeria university, like I told them in Oxford yesterday, I said, I don't want you to be reminded. I'm an alumnus of Oxford, of Cambridge, of Kellogg. I've passed through Harvard, Columbia, everywhere. But the educational qualification is not a measure of integrity. So that's it's not a measure of hard work. Show us where you've done what you say you will do. Don't come and tell us, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. We want to see empirical evidence that you've done it before. Being president of Nigeria is not a joke. So we don't want you to come and tell us, oh, we will do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. If you say you're going to stabilize the Naira, people have asked me, how are you going to manage the collapsing rate of Naira? Naira is collapsing because you have physical irresponsibility and you're not productive. Simple. Because you're printing money, people are stealing public money, people are paying any money from subsidy without doing anything. When you have money that is not product of hard work, chasing dollars, they will pay everything. That's what you have. Two, you're not exporting. If you can't earn more dollars, you need to earn more dollars. I'm just giving you an example. If you double, if you triple Nigeria, if you move Nigeria from earning, say, $50 billion to 150 billion, which is the least we can do, you stabilize your currency. It's simple. It's not rocket science. Like I said, generating power is not rocket science. You can deal with it. You're burning gas. Today, Nigeria is so advantaged. Nigeria have about half the size of Russian gas reserve. Russia is generating every single month about $1 billion every day. We call it even every day. They call it even every month. Russia generates several billions from gas. If we can earn what Russia generates every day today from gas, if you can earn 10% of it today, you can change the world. Yes. What? 10% of it. We have half of their reserve. And Europe is looking for it. It will shock you. Egypt doubled their power generation from 20,000 to over 55,000 to over 50,000, about 55,000 between 2015 and 2020. So it's not rocket science. It will shock you that Egypt is about to export power to Europe. That is the change. We're not talking about first world now. Everything that we have, and we have talent, energy that can do this. So if anybody says to you, write glossy manifesto, let us do. If someone says I'm going to cut cost of governance, I want to learn daily about manifesto very well. Because the critical component, somebody said is the most important thing here. If somebody says I'm going to cut cost of governance, ask him where he cut it before. Because they've governed before. I can tell you. Go and ask anybody. As governor of Anambra State, I flew economy for 8 years. I carry my box. I go everything. I never went to Abuja with my ADC. Everybody knew. As governor of Anambra State, I shut down our lodge in Abuja. I said, governor of Anambra doesn't live in Abuja. I shut it down. I shut down all our guest houses. When I was looking for money to put in education, because when I came in, 30% of our budget was almost going to the office of governor. I reversed it. I said 10% must go to education. 10%. By the time I finished everything I was doing, I was left with only 4%. And I said, I'm going to deal with it. And you could see it. I was the only governor who operated with that office of First Lady. Because nobody, I and my wife, everybody knows, are so close that you can't imagine it. But nobody voted for my wife. Since we we are married, we are one, isn't it? Yes. So I'm the one who they voted for. So they voted to 2 of us. So 2 of us decided to run one office. You know, they have another convoy of 20 persons creating additional confusion. When there's already enough confusion to deal with. Until today, I can tell you as I'm coming here today, the person was in my car knows how many times me and my wife. She knows I'm here. She will even tell me, you're tired, better sleep in Manchester, come back tomorrow, this, do this, of course, you know, this thing you're doing, but it's me that you saw here now. So why create another office when I'm going with a routine of service to cut costs? So if somebody said I'm going to do it, ask him last time, where did he do it? So the manifesto is what I'm telling you, you're taping it now. That's the manifesto. Physical one. Not written one. This is the one that will be obeyed. That one is when you look and say, where is it written? Who wrote this thing? It's the party. Then they will blame the party chairman. It's Julius that wrote it, or they blame VAR. I said they wrote it. I didn't know when they wrote it. Is that what they're telling us today? ABC says the $1 to $1. Yes. Now you remind them, they said they never did it. It was the party problem. Now let everybody who is contesting come and say it with his mouth. We document it. So even if he doesn't achieve it, we might not get 100% result, but we will put 100% effort. Peter is telling the youth of Nigerians, hold me responsible. I will be charged. I'm not going to delegate it. I visited every single school in Anambra State. I'm going to do it from the front. If I say I'm going to solve the security problem, I'll be in charge. The last boss is my desk. I'm not going to delegate anybody. And I'm not going to blame anybody for the failure. I'll take responsibility for it. That's what we're looking for. And this job is a job that requires every of the time. So thank you for this. I assure you of my commitment. I assure you of everything. We'll take only 2 more questions. So we can end.
All right. Hold on. Our principal